Hello again, my loyal noob. Thanks for coming again. We got another Terran vs. Terran that you sent me. So, I am going to assume that Terran vs. Terran is one of your more difficult matchups. So I'm going to be trying to talk about specific Terran vs. Terran concepts as much as I can. But we're also really just need to focus on a lot of the fundamentals. So I'm still going to be covering fundamentals, but I'll be addressing Terran vs. Terran specific things as well. So, the first thing I just noticed in this game and in the previous game is this this supply depot goes up at 9 instead of going up at 10. So like, I'll just back it up real quick. This isn't a huge deal, but it's just one of these little efficiencies that you can shave out at the beginning of your build order. So when you build this supply depot, you should build this SCV first. So wait for this SCV to finish, build another one, and then wait to get enough to build a supply depot. And the way it'll work out is as soon as you get to 11 of 11 supply and you're needing to start another SCV, this supply depot will finish at the exact right time. So just try to figure that out in the next couple games you play. It's not a huge deal. It's nothing game breaking, but it will make your build order a little more efficient. And then typically with that build you'll get the supply depot, and then the barracks will go up at 12. So there will be no stopping time in these SCVs. In your build order you want to be able to look at your command center at least for the first 3 or 4 minutes at least, and never see an SCV not building. So that's really just the first obvious thing. And also, I would definitely highly recommend just going into a game that you're not, I'm going to pause this real quick, a game that you're not actually playing another person, there's no stress involved, you know you're not going to have to actually fight someone, and just work on your build order. Really, just work on keeping your minerals as low as possible, and always pumping out SCVs, and then as your SCVs are constantly coming out, just figure out other stuff to do with your minerals. Like, you have 100 minerals right now, you could be throwing down a refinery or whatever you want to do there. Okay, so this second supply depot is early, and I understand the mentality of wanting to have this supply depot here because it prevents all scouting, but really I would recommend against that because it will delay the orbital command, it'll delay you from getting this first marine, maybe delay your gas in some way. Really the way the build order most generally goes is your barracks at 12, as soon as your refinery around 13, as soon as your barracks finishes, then you get that orbital command as soon as it finishes, and then the second supply depot goes up. Okay? And what you'll want to do is get one marine out at least. If you're going to put some kind of add-on on here, at least get one marine out to deny whatever scouting is in your base, and then focus on whatever else you want to do with this build. So I've watched this already. Oh, I do love seeing that you've taken advice and are putting it to good use and getting that orbital command early. It's awesome. So I've watched this already. The build you go for is a double starport Banshee build. Interesting build. I haven't played around with it much in Terran vs. Terran. Although I do like the single Banshee opening in Terran vs. Terran, and I prefer to, if it gets scouted, then I won't get Cloak. If it is not scouted, then I will get Cloak and try to make them waste as many scans as possible, and get as many SCV kills as I can while they're waiting for Cloak to recharge or whatever. And then even if they went for a pretty early Viking to shut down my Banshee, you can at least make them use scans, and that can pretty much pay for itself. Okay, so at this point in the build, we're having kind of a mineral problem. You got those 2 refineries up really fast, and that's perfect for this type of, super high-tech build, but we're having a mineral problem. So I would say a minute or 2 ago, throw down 2 more barracks, or throw down a command center. Now the command center would be kind of dangerous in my opinion to be going down this early, because as you can see you've only got 3 Marines, and if he had just gone for, you know, just a couple barracks and just a, you know, a early-ish kind of push around the 6, 7, 8 minute mark or something, there's a time where you're really, really vulnerable right now. You've got so much tech up. You've got 2 starports up. Both of them are going to get tech labs. You've got a bunch of minerals stockpiled that aren't really doing anything for you right now. So he's he would be in a nice position to have some kind of stim-based timing attack come out. And in fact, with some of my students I've had for the private lessons, I'll teach them this little 3 barracks push that comes out in about 1 minute, and I think that push would quite easily get past this wall in just this very small number of units. So kind of a dangerous build in my opinion. Could be broken by quite a few things. But yeah, really keeping the minerals lower than this during your build is very, very important. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to be talking about, hopefully a little bit more in this, is using the lower half of your screen. Okay, so I think when most people play, they're using this portion of the screen to play. They're looking at what's physically on the ground. Whereas if you're using hotkeys effectively and watching your mini-map really closely, you can end up mostly using this bottom portion of your screen to play. You're still looking at everything else in the center, but as you're going through your hotkeys, you know, you're looking at your buildings, seeing what's building, you're watching the mini-map, all that good stuff. You can do a surprising amount of your playing with your eyes being down here. And one of the biggest perks of doing that, getting really used to that, is you get to see drops like this coming. So I'm assuming you don't see it because you aren't positioning your Marines in any certain way. But if you try to keep your focus a little more on the bottom side of your screen, you'll probably find that you can sometimes catch things like that. Maybe put your Marines right here. You do catch it right then, looks like. But yeah, getting your Marines in that good position would have been very, very nice for you. Okay. So the Banshee is in, doing damage. He's cloaked. So obviously you want to scan that. The scan comes out a little bit early, because obviously your Marines aren't quite in position yet. But you get the general concept. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention. Well, I'll save that for a second. Okay, so you scare this Banshee away. Something I forgot to mention is I notice you don't have your orbital command on a hotkey. Oh, need to get the orbital command on a hotkey just so you can. I remember you had it on 0 last time, but you really need to have it on a hotkey just so you can, you know, do 3S or whatever your little keystroke is going to be to get another SCV building. Or in this case, you're going to want to do 3C for the scan. Wait, is it hotkey C? I'm going crazy. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely want to have orbital command on a hotkey. Yeah, really can't stress that enough. In fact, pretty much all buildings need to be on a hotkey. And then, you know, you can see here the mineral problem is still happening. These should have had several more barracks down. You really have to just spend that money. Let's look at. I'm gonna hit A for army. Okay. So he's got an army worth about 600 minerals and 200 gas. You have an army worth 800 minerals, 225 gas. Imagine if you had turned most of that 900 right here into minerals and this almost 400 right here into gas, into an army. You can see that you'd have a much bigger army than him, and it would pretty much win you the game. So keeping your money low is so important. And when you see your money getting really high, at this point I really don't even care what you spend it on. If you're on one base and your money's getting that high, spend it on anything. Spend it on barracks, throw down an engineering bay, get up a turret or two if you want. Just really spend it on something because you have to. So that's cool. That's fortunate. I missed what happened here with your Banshees, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. Alright, Banshees coming in. They do not have Cloak. So really you need to be very careful with your Banshees when they don't have Cloak. And here's what I would recommend. I'm going to finish this, let this attack just happen, then I'm going to talk about something. Okay. Oh, there was something else I was supposed to mention that I noticed the first time I watched this replay. If you're ever being attacked by Cloak Banshees, obviously Marines are going to be one of your best counters to those Cloak Banshees, but one of your best resources is having Stim Pack, because Banshees are faster than Marines. Marines 2.25 speed. Where's a Banshee? I can't see Banshee speed. Hold on, I'm gonna back up because I'm curious. Marine was 2.25. Banshee is 2.75. So a Banshee is significantly faster than a Marine. However, a Marine that has used Stim can catch up to a Banshee. So if a Banshee is in an open area and the Marine can Stim, he can catch up with the Banshee, no problem, and kill it quite easily. So one of the best ways you can combat that is try not to fly your Banshees into an open position like this. Like let's look at everything in this base that isn't part of this, that isn't a ledge of some kind. All these ledges right here and right here. There's an area about right here, this big, where your Banshees will have nowhere to run if they get in position of the Marines. So really you want to keep your Banshees kind of along these outskirts so you can always run them away and the Marines won't be able to catch up. So try not to attack straight. Your Banshees basically flew in this way and attacked straight into the base. Try to fly around somewhere like here, snoop around to the back, and then start working on some of those SCVs, and whenever the Marines get there, just run away. And abuse this cliff. You know, keep your Banshees. Also, Banshees have 6 range. Marines have 5 range. So if you keep your Banshees out here, there's a little 1 range spot where the Marines will be sitting here, can't hit your Banshee 5 units away, but your Banshee can hit the Marines. So, also think about, good stuff, blah blah blah. But really, you know, the high mineral problem is the biggest issue with this build. Very important to keep your money low. Alright. So let's talk about scouting. So one of the perks of doing this build you did with the Banshees is you always get to see inside their base. So let's look inside their base real quick. We're seeing I'm pretty sure we saw there was a barracks here making a reactor, and another barracks with a tech lab, and one barracks with a another reactor. So we're going to be expecting lots and lots of bionic units, lots of barracks units. What's good against barracks units is siege tanks. So I think seeing what you saw, it would be a decent transition to put a tech lab right here, or maybe swap out for one of these starports and maybe get a reactor on a starport for medevacs or Vikings or something, and start getting siege tanks instead. Just an idea. Just an idea. And this drop is loading up, and we're going to see again, you know, if you're super on the ball about watching this bottom part of your screen, a lot of the damage that happens because of this drop could have been avoided. So I'm holding V to see just your vision, and just watch the minimap here. This will be super hard to see, but if you can get in the really good habit of watching it, you can see the minimap. You could see, you wouldn't even have to click over to see that coming. As soon as you saw something walk by, you'd probably know that it's a drop coming up. So it's possible you could have seen that coming. It's just a matter of keeping your attention down at the bottom of the screen instead of the top of the screen. Very, very hard skill though. Quite difficult. And then all this queuing up is bad as well. You know, this is 375 minerals, or 300 minerals and 75 gas rather. That's not being put to use in any way, so that could be, you know, another bear, so whatever. In fact, let's just count real quick. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Yeah, it's about 500 minerals not being used. So, you know, add that number to army or whatever. Or there's another tab here. Spending. So you could have added that 500 to any one of these categories. Alright. Okay. At this point, we'll see how this goes, but I would say having this many banshees, you're seeing all these turrets up, so the cloak's not going to matter. Turrets do quite well against banshees. You can see you're losing most of them for really nothing. I'd just recommend against attacking into someone who's very prepared for what's going on. You know, let's look on his vision. Okay, so he has seen you have 2 Tech Lab starports, so he's expecting tons and tons of banshees. So he had tons and tons of turrets out. Okay, and this is good. This is good for you. All these turrets that came out is money lost. That if you don't bother trying to break these turrets, that's just completely sunk money. He gets no value out of these. So what I would recommend next time, it's perfectly okay what you did, to run in your banshees and see what's going on, but skirt him along the outside. If you see this many turrets, you know he's going to be totally prepared for banshees, and it's just not going to work to try to harass him like that. Pull your banshees back and have them be just part of your army. Have them in the back firing, and they can do just sick, crazy good damage. Also, if it doesn't happen this game, but if you're attacking into the other player, I would recommend going this path and then attacking up this way, because if he has siege tanks here, say goodbye to your bio units. Or even just units sitting along the cliff here, he would have gotten some free shots. So you're running up the ramp, taking good advice and not attacking straight up into the ramp. So cool. So good, so smart. But then what we're going to see here is an unfortunate occurrence of him just having more units, having higher tech and more units. Or I guess he doesn't have more units. He has just a better combination of units. So let's look at the units real quick. Okay, you've got a huge SCV lead on him. This is awesome. Your income is not so much showing that lead, because, well, it's not showing that lead because he has 3 mules down right now and you have just 1 mule down, but really your income is quite a bit ahead of his, and as soon as these mules are gone, his income's gonna basically plummet. A mule is equivalent of about 4 SCVs, so if you factor that in to this number, he's actually not very far behind. But back to the units. So you're way ahead in SCVs. You've got 6 Marauders, he's got 9 Marauders, so he's beating you there. You've got 37 Marines, he's got 19 Marines. So you're doing fairly good there. He's got 2 Vikings, you don't have 2 Vikings. And then he has these 6 medevacs. Look at these 6 medevacs, and look at that purple bar there. That is so much healing that these medevacs can do. That's an insane amount of healing. This one has almost 200 energy, and let's see, heals 3 life per 1 energy. So that's 600 life that this one medevac can heal. That's crazy, and it's so powerful. The other big thing that happens in this fight is that he has Stim Pack, and you do not have Stim Pack. Stim Pack is so worth it. Always get Stim Pack. Also, if you're going to be getting lots of Marines like you are, get Combat Shield. Plus 10 life is a huge boost to a unit with 45 life. Alright. So the attack is coming in. I'm just going to select all of his units and just look out. They use stim, and some units are dying. A lot of units are healing more than they're dying. Do you see that? Are you seeing how huge having these medevacs here is? Just look at the bottom of the screen here and just watch the health of all his units. Dropping some, losing a couple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 units so far, and then his medevacs are just healing everything completely back to full. And now he's got, well, let's wait for this battle to go on. You can just see like how much of a struggle it is to just kill one unit. In fact, look at that last battle, this little mini engagement right here. All these are gonna kill, like, let's count how many units they kill. 1 Marine, 2 Marines. That was it. That was all that entire group killed, was 2 Marines, and it's because of these medevacs. So what to do about that? Well, siege tanks again would be a good idea. Having your own medevacs would be a good idea. Yeah. And now he's gonna go for a big drop. So I'm a broken record, but all this is too high. Let's look at that army value real quick. You are at 54 supply, he's at 70 supply. You've got 1700 gas. It could be right here. You already have the gas. It's done. You have the gas. You've gone back and forth. Your SCVs have mined it. You have it. You just haven't spent it. Haven't made it anything useful. And then about 1,000 minerals with another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. Yeah, about 600 minerals queued up in the bank. So 1,600 minerals. So you wouldn't actually be behind. If you could spend all that money and have it spent by the time this attack comes in, you would be ahead of him in terms of total value of your army. So that should be kind of shocking to you, because that's such a big deal. It's a huge deal. And then again, these medevacs just are kind of just powering through everything you can throw at them. These units just last so long once they have medevacs healing all of them. And the medevacs are still at very high energy, so no problem at all. So this game is going to wind to a close. But yeah, I'd say this time it was more of a macro loss for you than anything else. Wouldn't call it a scouting error. No major unit control errors. Just the fact of him being able to spend his resources more and get more value out of his resources. His resources were high as well, but yeah. Anyway, I'm really not sure how to emphasize that point enough of just being able to spend money, but really when you're watching your replay and you see your money get to you know, if you're on one base and your money gets above 400, really, then you should be, you know, actively trying to look for a way to spend that money. If it's getting into, you know, 800, 900, 1,000, if your money hits 1,000 minerals, you should really be panicking. If you're seeing 1,000 minerals, you should be thinking, oh man, am I so far behind? You're like, okay, and I think the reason your money is getting so high is because you're so good about making SCVs. You're actually very good about making SCVs. Compared to your opponent, like when we looked at it last time, you had 33 to his 19 or something like that. That's huge. That's amazingly good. And if you can take that advantage and translate all that money into units, you'll be doing a lot better. So that's basically it. Focus on macro. Focus on keeping money low. Check that unspent resources tab after your game every time and try to keep it below 1,000. If it's below 1,000, then you're doing okay. Ideally, you really want to keep it below pretty much 4 or 500 at all times throughout the game, but especially on one base, never above 4 or 500. Alright, thanks for coming to me again. If you want to send any more replays my way, I'll get them to you as soon as possible. And yeah, GG.